Life does not move in a straight line. Sometimes we rise, sometimes we fall, and sometimes we must begin again. To restart is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of courage. It means we are still willing to grow, still willing to improve, still willing to face life with open eyes. No matter your age, the present moment is always fresh. The past cannot hold you unless you cling to it. You may carry memories, but you are not chained to them. You may have regrets, but they do not define your next step. In the way of Stoic wisdom, we remind ourselves of one truth: only what is in our control deserves our energy. Age is not in our control. Other people's opinions are not in our control. The time already spent is not in our control. But our choices today, these are ours. Our attitude, this is ours. Our willingness to restart, this is fully in our hands. Do not say, "It is too late." The world keeps changing, and so can you. Every sunrise is an invitation to rebuild. Every breath is a quiet chance to begin again. If you are starting over, do it with calm strength. Do not rush. Do not fear. Set your mind on the next small step, not the whole road. You are not behind. You are simply at a new beginning, and beginnings are powerful. So restart with purpose. Restart with peace. Restart knowing that real growth has no age limit. Your life is not measured by how fast you reach the finish, but by how honestly you walk the path. Today is a good day to begin again. Restarting at any age is a reminder that life is not fixed, sealed, or limited by the number of years we have lived. It is a truth that opens the door to possibility, no matter how much time has passed or how many mistakes we think we have made. The idea that we are too old, too late, or too far behind is something the mind creates, not something life imposes. Life continues forward, offering new paths, new chances, and new beginnings to anyone brave enough to reach for them. Restarting does not erase what came before, but it does free us from being trapped by it. It tells us that our past is not a prison, but a classroom. To restart at any age is to accept that growth is a lifelong process. A tree grows as long as it lives. So do we. Some people think that only the young should start new things, but wisdom shows us the opposite. Those with more years often have deeper insight, stronger discipline, and a clearer understanding of what truly matters. These qualities make a new beginning even more powerful. Experience becomes a tool, not a weight. Every failure becomes a lesson. Every hardship becomes strength. When we realize this, we see that restarting later in life can be more meaningful than starting early. Restarting also means refusing to let fear decide the direction of your life. Fear whispers that change is dangerous or uncertain. It points to past disappointments and says, "This will happen again." But fear is only a thought, and thoughts can be examined and dismissed. To begin again is to say, "I choose action over fear." It is a decision to move, even if slowly, instead of staying stuck. Action, no matter how small, is always stronger than worry. Restarting at any age shows courage, not recklessness. It shows that you trust yourself enough to try again. Time itself does not judge us. It simply continues. It is people who judge, compare, or set imaginary deadlines. One person may restart at 20, another at 50, another at 70. Each path is valid. Each choice is personal. The world is full of stories of people who discovered their purpose much later than expected. Some began new careers, others built new relationships, others changed their habits, their environment, or their way of thinking. What matters is not when they started, but that they started at all. Life does not reward the earliest attempt, it rewards the honest, committed one. Restarting at any age requires humility. It means being willing to say, "I can do better," or "I want something different," or "I need to try again." Humility is not weakness, it is clarity. It strips away pride and excuses and leaves only the truth. You are capable of more. When you accept this truth, the weight of past choices becomes lighter. You stop fighting against what has already happened and start shaping what can happen next. Restarting also teaches patience. Change does not happen overnight, and it does not need to. What matters is consistency. A single step repeated again and again becomes progress. Progress repeated becomes transformation. You may not see results immediately, but you will feel them. In your actions, in your mindset, in your sense of purpose. Restarting at any age brings you back to the foundation of all growth, a willingness to keep going. To restart means choosing possibility over limitation, hope over disappointment, and action over regret. It is a quiet declaration that no matter what has happened, there is still more life to live, more to learn, and more to become. The present moment is your starting point because it is the only place where your life truly exists. The past is already finished, and the future has not yet arrived. All your power, all your decisions, and all your actions live here, in this single moment. Many people wait for the right time to begin again. They wait for more resources, more confidence, more approval, or a perfect situation that never comes. But the present moment does not demand perfection. It only asks for awareness and willingness. When you realize that this moment is enough, you free yourself from excuses and delay. You understand that the beginning you seek is not somewhere far away, it is already in your hands. Seeing the present moment as your starting point means recognizing that you do not need to fix the entire future before taking a step. You do not need a complete plan to make a change. You do not need certainty to move forward. What you need is clarity about what you can do right now, with the thoughts you think and the actions you choose. Every major change in life starts with a single moment where you decide to shift your direction. This moment becomes the seed of everything that follows. Just as a seed does not instantly become a tree, your beginning does not need to be dramatic or large. It simply needs to be real. The present moment is also neutral. It does not care about your past mistakes or your past achievements. It offers you the same opportunity no matter what came before. This neutrality is a gift, because it means you are not defined by yesterday. Whether you have fallen or succeeded, the moment in front of you remains open. It invites you to choose again, act again, and think again. This is why the present moment is powerful. It wipes the slate clean without erasing your experience. You carry your lessons, but you are not trapped by them. When you truly focus on the present moment, anxiety about the future becomes quieter. Your mind often tries to jump ahead, imagining scenarios, worrying about outcomes, or anticipating problems. But the future exists only as thoughts in your mind. The only real action you can take, the only real control you have is right now. When you return your attention to this moment, you bring your mind back to what is real and manageable. You might not know what will happen tomorrow, but you can decide how you will use today. This shift in focus gives you strength and stability because it grounds you in what you can actually influence. Seeing the present moment as your starting point also encourages responsibility. You stop waiting for others to change your life or for circumstances to improve on their own. Instead, you take ownership of your choices. You understand that even if you cannot control everything around you, you can always control how you respond. This responsibility is empowering rather than heavy. It means your life moves through your decisions, not through luck or chance. Each moment gives you a chance to choose differently, to act more wisely, to step toward the person you want to become. The present moment is also a place of honesty. When you pay attention to now, you see your thoughts more clearly. You see your fears, your habits, your hopes, and your strengths without distraction. This honesty allows you to make better choices because you are not guided by confusion or denial. You understand what you need, what you should let go of, and what direction feels true. This clarity cannot be found by staring at the past or worrying about the future. It can only be found by being fully present. Beginning in the present moment is not about rushing. It is about awareness. It is about choosing deliberately rather than reactively. When you treat this moment as a fresh starting point, you stop repeating old patterns automatically. You create space for new habits, new actions, and new thoughts. You begin to build momentum, not through dramatic effort, but through grounded clarity. Each present moment becomes a step, and each step becomes part of a larger transformation. Releasing what you cannot control is one of the most freeing acts a person can learn, because so much of life lies outside your influence. You cannot control what others think, say, or do. You cannot control the weather, the past, the economy, or the unexpected events that shape the world around you. Yet many people suffer because they try to control these things anyway, spending their energy on battles they can never win. When you attempt to shape what is beyond your reach, frustration grows, anxiety spreads, and your peace becomes fragile. But when you learn to let go, your mind becomes lighter, your decisions become clearer, and your strength returns to the things that actually matter. Understanding what is in your control begins with honest observation. Your thoughts, your actions, your responses, your choices, these belong to you. Everything else is separate from your inner sphere. You can influence some things, but you cannot force the world to obey your plans. Recognizing this difference is not defeat, it is clarity. It allows you to place your effort where it can make a true impact instead of wasting it on impossible tasks. A calm mind comes from focusing on your own role, not the roles of others. Releasing what you cannot control also helps you stop fighting with reality. Many problems grow heavier not because they are large, but because we refuse to accept them as they are. When you resist reality, you create inner tension. You say, "It shouldn't be this way," even though it already is. Acceptance does not mean approval, and it does not mean passivity. It simply means seeing the truth clearly so you can respond from a position of strength instead of emotional exhaustion. When you accept what you cannot change, you free your energy to work on what you can. Letting go teaches patience. Some things need time to unfold, and no amount of worrying will hurry them. You can prepare, you can act wisely, but you cannot force outcomes. The moment you release the obsession for control, you begin to trust the process of life, rather than attempting to bend it to your will. This trust brings a quiet confidence. You stop feeling the urgency to manage everything, and you start focusing on the next meaningful action within your reach. This shift removes unnecessary stress and creates balance. Releasing what you cannot control also strengthens resilience. When you cling tightly to fixed expectations, any disruption feels painful. But when you loosen your grip, you become flexible. You are able to adapt when plans change, when people disappoint you, or when life presents a different path than expected. Flexibility is not weakness, it is endurance. A rigid tree snaps in a storm, but a flexible one bends and rises again. By letting go of what lies outside your control, you become more grounded and more capable of weathering challenges without losing yourself. Letting go also brings emotional clarity. When you no longer react to every external event, you create space between you and the world. In that space, you can think calmly instead of immediately judging or panicking. You begin to see which emotions arise from genuine circumstances and which arise from your desire to dominate what cannot be dominated. This awareness helps you respond with wisdom rather than impulse. It protects your peace because your feelings are no longer tied to things beyond your influence. Releasing what you cannot control allows you to live more fully in the present. You stop replaying the past, trying to rewrite it in your mind. You stop imagining endless futures in an attempt to guarantee safety. You return your attention to what can be shaped now. You move with clarity, act with intention, and conserve your energy for meaningful growth. This act of letting go is not about giving up. It is about recognizing your true strength and directing it toward the parts of life where it can genuinely transform your path. Age is not a barrier to growth because growth does not depend on youth, speed, or physical strength. It depends on awareness, understanding, and willingness. These qualities can deepen as you grow older, not fade. Many people believe that change belongs to the young, but this belief comes from fear, not truth. Age does not limit the mind's ability to learn, nor the heart's ability to renew itself. As long as you are alive, you are capable of becoming more than you were yesterday. Each year of your life adds new experiences, new lessons, and new perspectives, all of which can support powerful growth when you choose to use them. Growing at a later age often comes with greater clarity. When you are young, your direction can be shaped by pressure, comparison, or confusion. With age, you start to see what truly matters. You understand which paths bring meaning and which bring regret. This understanding becomes an advantage, not a limitation. It helps you choose with intention rather than impulse. It allows you to move with purpose rather than rushing blindly. Growth rooted in wisdom is often more stable and more genuine than growth driven by fear or ambition. Age also teaches humility, and humility is a foundation for transformation. When you have lived long enough to see both your strengths and your mistakes, you learn the value of listening, observing, and adjusting. You stop pretending to know everything and start becoming more open to learning. Humility opens the door to new skills, new habits, and new ways of thinking. It helps you let go of stubborn patterns that no longer serve you. This openness allows real change to happen because you are no longer fighting against reality, you are working with it. Growth at any age also requires courage, and courage is not something that fades with time. In fact, experience often strengthens it. You have already faced hardships. You have already survived moments you once believed you could not endure. These memories become proof that you are capable of more than you think. When you choose to grow later in life, you do so with a deep well of lived strength. This makes your growth steady, grounded, and sincere. You are no longer driven by the need to impress anyone. You grow because it feels true to who you are becoming. Seeing age as a barrier is often connected to the opinions of others. Society often creates timelines when you should start, when you should finish, when you should settle. These timelines are imaginary. They have no real authority unless you give them power. Growth is personal. It does not follow a schedule, and it is not measured by comparison. Some people discover their purpose early, others discover it much later. What matters is the discovery, not the timing. When you stop measuring your life against the expectations of others, you become free to follow your own path. Age also strengthens patience, which is essential for growth. True change does not happen overnight. It unfolds slowly, through consistent actions and steady intention. A person who has lived through many seasons understands the natural rhythm of progress. You know that setbacks are part of the process, not signs of failure. This patience allows you to stay committed to your growth without losing hope when results take time. You understand that real transformation is not rushed, it is built. Finally, age brings honesty. You become more aware of what brings you peace and what disrupts it, what aligns with your values and what pulls you away from them. This honesty allows you to direct your energy where it matters most. Growth becomes simpler because you stop chasing everything and start focusing on what is meaningful. When you embrace this clarity, your growth becomes deeper and more authentic. Age becomes a source of strength, not a limitation, because it gives you the wisdom, patience, courage, and insight needed to evolve in a way that is genuine and lasting. Small steps create big change because transformation is built through consistent, repeated actions rather than sudden leaps. Many people imagine change as a dramatic event, a moment where everything shifts at once, but real growth rarely unfolds that way. It grows slowly, quietly, through simple decisions made day after day. A single small step may seem insignificant, but when taken consistently, it begins to shape your habits, your mindset, and your direction. Every major achievement in life began with a first step that looked ordinary. The power lies not in the size of the step, but in the commitment behind it. Small steps matter because they are manageable. When you face a large goal, the size of it can overwhelm you. You think of everything you must do, every challenge you will meet, and every bit of discipline required. This can create hesitation or even paralysis. But when you focus on the next small step instead of the entire journey, the task becomes lighter. You no longer carry the weight of the whole distance. You carry only what is in front of you. This approach removes fear and gives you clarity. It makes the impossible feel possible because you are no longer trying to do everything at once. Consistency is the real force behind change. A small step repeated becomes a habit, and habits shape who you become. One day of effort does not transform you, but repeated days of effort build strength. When you take small steps daily, you create a path that leads naturally to bigger outcomes. The steps themselves may feel simple, like reading a few pages, taking a short walk, practicing a skill for a few minutes, or choosing a calmer response to a stressful moment. But over time, these actions accumulate. They create momentum. They guide you toward a new version of yourself without demanding perfection or intensity. Small steps also reduce resistance. The mind often resists change because it fears discomfort or failure. A large task triggers this resistance, a small step does not. When you choose actions that are simple and achievable, your mind is less likely to push back. You begin to associate change with manageable effort rather than struggle. This positive association strengthens your motivation and helps you continue even on difficult days. You learn that progress does not require extreme effort, it requires steady commitment. Another reason small steps are powerful is that they prevent burnout. When you push yourself too hard too fast, you may see quick progress, but the effort is difficult to maintain. Exhaustion sets in, and your motivation fades. Small steps allow your energy to remain balanced. You move forward without draining yourself. You grow at a sustainable pace that fits your life. This sustainability is what allows change to last. Growth that burns too quickly often fades. Growth that builds slowly becomes part of who you are. Small steps also teach patience and presence. You stop chasing instant results and start valuing the process itself. You become more aware of your actions, your thoughts, and your progress. Even if the change feels slow, you begin to notice subtle shifts in your behavior and mindset. These shifts may be quiet, but they are steady. They show you that progress is happening even when it is not dramatic. This awareness strengthens your faith in the path you have chosen. Each small step also reinforces your identity. When you take repeated actions that align with the person you want to become, you begin to see yourself differently. Identity shapes behavior, and behavior shapes identity. A person who takes small steps toward discipline becomes more disciplined. A person who takes small steps toward courage becomes more courageous. Every small action is a vote for the type of person you are becoming, and over time, these votes accumulate into real transformation. Small steps create big change because they build momentum, reduce resistance, and form the foundation of lasting growth. They allow you to move forward with clarity, patience, and strength, building a life that transforms gradually through steady, intentional action. Courage is choosing to begin again because it requires you to face uncertainty, discomfort, and the possibility of failure with an open mind. Starting over is not a simple act. It means stepping away from familiar patterns, even when those patterns no longer serve you. It means letting go of what feels safe and stepping into what feels unknown. This choice demands strength, not because the task itself is impossible, but because the inner resistance to change can be powerful. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. When you choose to begin again, you prove to yourself that fear does not control your direction. Choosing to begin again also means accepting responsibility for your life. It is much easier to blame circumstances, other people, or your past than it is to take ownership of your next step. But courage pushes you to look honestly at where you are and decide that a new path is worth the effort. This honesty can be uncomfortable, yet it is the starting point of all real progress. You acknowledge that you cannot rewrite what has already been lived, but you can reshape what comes next. This shift from blame to responsibility is a powerful act of bravery, because it places your future back into your own hands. Beginning again requires humility. It asks you to admit that your previous direction may not have been right for you, or that your old habits kept you stuck. Humility is not weakness, it is clarity. It opens the door to learning, to adjusting, and to improving. When you choose to begin again, you choose growth over pride. You allow yourself to be a beginner, and being a beginner takes courage. You must be willing to stumble, to learn slowly, and to rebuild piece by piece. This willingness is a sign of inner strength. Starting again also demands letting go of the fear of judgment. Many people stay stuck because they worry about what others will think if they change, fail, or choose a new direction. But courage teaches you that someone else's opinion does not determine your worth. If you allow the judgment of others to guide your choices, you hand over your life to people who do not walk your path. When you choose to begin again, you choose freedom from those expectations. You choose your own growth over the comfort of approval. Beginning again also means trusting yourself. You may not have all the answers. You may not see the entire path. But courage allows you to take the next step with faith in your ability to adapt, learn, and endure. You have already overcome challenges in the past, and those experiences become proof of your resilience. Trust builds each time you choose to move forward instead of avoiding change. This trust strengthens your inner foundation, allowing you to navigate new beginnings with calm confidence. Choosing to begin again shows that you value your future more than your comfort. Comfort can keep you in situations that drain you, habits that limit you, or environments that no longer support your growth. Courage pushes you to break that pattern. It pushes you to trade temporary comfort for long-term fulfillment. When you take that first step toward a new beginning, you open the door to possibilities that did not exist before. You give yourself permission to evolve. Courage is choosing to begin again because starting again is an act of hope. It is the belief that life still has more to offer, and that you still have more to become. Even if you have fallen, even if you feel behind, even if you carry regret, the choice to restart reflects your belief that growth is still within reach. This belief is powerful. It transforms fear into strength, doubt into direction, and hesitation into action. Choosing to begin again is one of the strongest choices a person can make because it requires you to walk forward with faith, humility, and determination, shaping your life through deliberate, courageous steps. Letting go of regret while keeping the lesson is a powerful act of inner discipline, because regret can easily become a weight that slows your progress and clouds your judgment. Regret often arises from decisions you wish you had made differently, words you wish you hadn't said, or opportunities you believe you missed. It can replay in your mind like an endless loop, pulling you back into moments you cannot change. But holding on to regret does not improve your past. It only harms your present. Learning to release regret allows you to move forward with clarity, while still carrying the wisdom gained from your experiences. Regret becomes harmful when you let it define you. You might look at your past choices and feel disappointment or shame, thinking they reveal something unchangeable about who you are. But the truth is that your past actions reflect only who you were at that moment, shaped by your understanding, your environment, and your emotional state at the time. As you grow, your perspective changes. You see what you could have done better, and that awareness is a sign of growth, not failure. Regret tries to trap you in a version of yourself that no longer exists. When you let go of regret, you acknowledge that you are no longer that person and that you have the capacity to change. Keeping the lesson means extracting the value from your past without carrying the emotional burden. Every mistake contains information: what didn't work, what you overlooked, what caused harm, or what you misunderstood. When you focus on the lesson instead of the regret, you turn the past into a teacher rather than a prison. You begin to see that mistakes are not barriers to growth but essential parts of the process. Even the most painful choices can offer clarity about who you want to become and what actions align with your values. Releasing regret also requires acceptance. Acceptance is not approval. It is the recognition that what happened cannot be undone. When you fight the past, you create unnecessary suffering. You replay conversations, revisit decisions, and imagine alternate outcomes, none of which change reality. Acceptance frees you from this cycle. It allows you to breathe again, to stop resisting what is unchangeable, and to redirect your energy toward what is still possible. Acceptance is a quiet strength that grounds you in truth, allowing you to respond to life rather than react to memory. Letting go of regret helps you rebuild trust in yourself. Regret often damages self-confidence, making you believe you cannot rely on your judgment. But when you look at your past honestly and keep the lesson, you see that you are capable of learning and improving. You recognize that your mistakes do not remove your worth, they reveal where you can grow. Trust returns when you acknowledge your flaws without losing faith in your ability to rise above them. Letting go also brings emotional lightness. Regret carries with it guilt, sadness, and self-blame. When these emotions linger, they cloud your thinking and drain your energy. By releasing regret, you allow yourself to experience healthier emotions, peace, focus, and hope. This emotional shift is important because your state of mind influences your ability to make wise choices. A calm mind sees clearly. A mind weighed down by regret struggles to move forward. Keeping the lesson encourages responsibility instead of self-punishment. Regret often tries to convince you that suffering is a form of atonement, but growth does not come from punishing yourself. It comes from making better choices. When you keep the lesson, you take responsibility for your future actions. You commit to behaving with more awareness, more patience, or more discipline. This responsibility turns regret into motivation, guiding you toward a better path instead of trapping you in the past. Letting go of regret while holding on to the lesson transforms your relationship with your past. You no longer see mistakes as signs of failure but as stepping stones that shaped your understanding. You free your mind from unnecessary pain while keeping the wisdom that helps you grow. This balance allows you to move forward with clarity, self-respect, and calm strength, guided not by regret, but by the lessons that remain. Focusing on your attitude rather than your past is one of the most important choices you can make, because your past is unchangeable, but your attitude shapes everything you do today and tomorrow. Many people spend too much time looking backward, wishing they had done things differently, or regretting decisions that cannot be undone. The mind can become trapped in what has already happened, and in doing so, it loses the power to act in the present. Your attitude, however, is a tool you can control. It determines how you perceive the world, how you respond to challenges, and how you navigate the opportunities that life presents. By turning attention to your attitude, you reclaim control over your life in ways that dwelling on the past never can. Your past is full of events, mistakes, successes, and experiences that have shaped you, but it does not define the person you are today unless you allow it to. Holding on to old narratives or believing that your past limits your future gives power to things that no longer exist. Every moment you spend thinking about what cannot be changed is a moment you cannot use to act, improve, or grow. The past can teach, but it should not bind. By focusing on your attitude, you take the lessons and leave behind the limitations. You make a conscious decision to approach life with clarity and purpose instead of regret or fear. Attitude is a reflection of choice. You cannot always choose the circumstances of your life, the behavior of others, or unexpected events, but you can choose how to respond. A calm, focused, and positive attitude allows you to face difficulties with strength rather than panic, to see opportunities where others see obstacles, and to act with clarity rather than confusion. Your attitude sets the tone for your thoughts, actions, and relationships. Even small adjustments in your perspective can create significant differences in outcomes. It is the lens through which you experience life, and when that lens is clear and disciplined, the world appears less chaotic and more manageable. Focusing on your attitude also builds resilience. Life inevitably presents challenges, setbacks, and disappointments, but the way you approach these moments determines their impact on you. Someone with a strong, disciplined attitude may face failure without losing direction, while someone preoccupied with past mistakes may find themselves overwhelmed. Resilience grows when you realize that the past is a teacher, not a jailer, and that your response in the present moment matters more than what has already happened. Attitude allows you to recover quickly, learn from experience, and continue moving forward with intention. Focusing on attitude encourages responsibility and self-mastery. Your past cannot be rewritten, but your actions today can create the foundation for a better tomorrow. By directing energy toward your mindset, your perspective, and your approach, you actively shape your life rather than leaving it to chance or circumstance. This self-mastery builds confidence because you see that your inner state, rather than external events, determines your peace and effectiveness. It reminds you that you are not a passive participant in life, but an active agent capable of deliberate choices. A focused attitude also strengthens clarity. When you stop revisiting old failures or clinging to outdated narratives, your mind becomes less cluttered. You can see options, solutions, and opportunities more clearly. This clarity allows you to prioritize what is important, to act decisively, and to align your actions with your long-term goals. Without the burden of the past, you gain freedom. You become capable of responding to life as it is, not as it was, and of building the future you desire instead of being tethered to yesterday's limitations. By placing your energy on attitude instead of the past, you cultivate peace, focus, and forward momentum. Your past becomes a reference point, not a chain. You learn from it, you acknowledge it, and then you release it, allowing your attitude to guide every choice, action, and response in the present. It is this disciplined focus on attitude that empowers you to grow continuously, overcome obstacles, and live with intention, regardless of what has come before. Every sunrise offers a new chance because each day begins with a blank slate, untouched by yesterday's mistakes or successes. The sun rises without hesitation, without judgment, and without concern for what came before, and in that simple act, it offers a profound lesson. Life continues, and with it, opportunity. Too often, people cling to the past or worry about the future, believing that the window for change has closed or that their actions no longer matter. But the reality is that each day presents a moment to act, to choose differently, to improve, and to move closer to the person you want to become. The cycle of the sun reminds us that every day is a chance to restart, and all that is required is awareness and willingness. A new day brings clarity because it removes the weight of yesterday's events. No matter how difficult or disappointing the previous day may have been, the sunrise offers a moment to begin again. This does not mean forgetting the lessons of the past. It means freeing yourself from its burdens. Holding on to previous failures or setbacks clouds judgment and drains energy, but recognizing that the day ahead is fresh allows you to focus fully on what is within your control. Each morning provides a psychological reset, an opportunity to decide anew how to respond to challenges, pursue goals, and treat yourself and others. This perspective empowers action rather than regret. The newness of each sunrise also reminds you that change is continuous and available at any time. Life is not a single path but a series of choices made moment by moment. Even if you have stumbled repeatedly, even if you feel trapped in old patterns, the present moment represented by the rising sun is always available. Each day is a reminder that time moves forward, and with it, so can you. Your past does not determine the future unless you allow it to dominate your thoughts. Recognizing each day as a fresh start encourages optimism, patience, and the courage to take small steps toward improvement, even if progress is slow. The symbolism of the sunrise also teaches resilience. Night follows day, and day follows night, regardless of what has occurred in either. Similarly, life will continue, and you have the chance to continue with it. Challenges, failures, and disappointments are temporary. Like the darkness before dawn, the moment the sun rises, the world is illuminated, and possibilities are renewed. This cyclical nature of life reassures you that even after difficulty, recovery and opportunity are possible. The ability to rise again, to act again, and to engage with life anew is a reflection of the strength within you, waiting to be activated each morning. Each sunrise also emphasizes the importance of presence. Worrying about the past or the future distracts from the opportunities available in the current day. When you focus on the rising sun and the moment it represents, you anchor yourself in the present. This focus allows you to take deliberate, conscious actions rather than reacting out of habit or fear. The day ahead is yours to shape, and the first step is attention, paying notice to the moment, the choices you make, and the attitude you bring. Awareness is the foundation of meaningful action. Recognizing each day as a new chance encourages gratitude. The very fact of existence, of having another opportunity to learn, to act, and to improve, is a gift. Gratitude does not erase difficulties, but it softens the weight of life's burdens and provides motivation to engage with the day fully. By valuing the potential each sunrise offers, you become more intentional in how you use your time, energy, and decisions. You begin to see that life is not about achieving everything at once, but about responding to each day with focus, courage, and effort. Every sunrise offers a new chance because it reminds you that life continues, that opportunity is ever present, and that you are capable of growth, renewal, and meaningful action. It is a daily invitation to reset your mind, realign your purpose, and move forward with awareness and determination, using the fresh start as a guide to becoming the person you aspire to be. Calm action beats worry because worry alone achieves nothing while consuming energy and focus that could be used to create meaningful results. When problems arise, the mind often reacts immediately with fear, anxiety, or panic, imagining the worst-case scenarios and replaying every possible failure. This mental activity can feel productive, but it is actually draining. Worry clouds judgment, narrows perspective, and slows decision-making. Calm action, on the other hand, allows you to assess the situation clearly, weigh your options, and respond effectively. Acting with composure transforms potential obstacles into manageable challenges, whereas worry only magnifies them. Worry often makes problems appear larger than they are. Thoughts can exaggerate danger, anticipate failure, and amplify consequences in ways that rarely align with reality. When you allow your mind to spiral into worry, you create stress that affects both mental and physical well-being. Sleep may be disturbed, focus may falter, and motivation may diminish. In contrast, calm action redirects that mental energy into productive efforts. By taking deliberate steps, even small ones, you regain control over your circumstances. You replace imagined chaos with tangible progress. Every step taken, no matter how modest, undermines the paralyzing power of worry. Calm action requires patience and clarity. Acting impulsively out of fear can lead to mistakes, but acting thoughtfully allows you to move steadily forward. Calm action does not mean inaction. It means approaching situations with composure, planning, and attention. You evaluate what is within your control, prioritize tasks, and respond in ways that create real outcomes. The process is deliberate and methodical, and it cultivates confidence because each choice is made with awareness rather than under the influence of panic. Over time, this habit strengthens your ability to remain grounded, even in challenging circumstances. Taking calm action also fosters resilience. Life inevitably brings setbacks, unexpected challenges, and moments of uncertainty. Those who rely on worry as a strategy often feel defeated before they even try. Calm action, however, allows you to respond with practical solutions, adapt when plans change, and maintain focus on what can be done rather than what cannot. By consistently acting with composure, you learn that obstacles are not permanent barriers but opportunities to test your skills, patience, and judgment. Resilience grows when action replaces anxiety because you begin to trust your ability to handle what comes your way. Calm action emphasizes control over what is possible. Worry attempts to control outcomes that are often outside your influence, such as the behavior of others, unexpected events, or past mistakes. Action focuses on what is within your reach, your decisions, responses, and effort. By investing energy into controllable areas, you create tangible progress rather than spinning in mental loops. This practical focus gives you a sense of empowerment, reducing fear, and increasing your capacity to handle uncertainty. The clarity that comes from action allows you to make better decisions, respond more effectively, and move forward consistently. Calm action also builds momentum. Each small, intentional step reinforces your ability to handle challenges, making future actions easier and more confident. Momentum grows not through worry or overthinking, but through steady, thoughtful effort. Each problem approached calmly, each decision made deliberately, and each step taken consistently compounds into progress. Over time, what once seemed overwhelming becomes manageable. The habit of calm action transforms life's uncertainties into opportunities for growth and learning. Finally, calm action improves emotional balance. Worry amplifies stress, fear, and frustration, making it difficult to think clearly or maintain composure. Action replaces these feelings with purpose, focus, and direction. When you act calmly, your mind shifts from reactive to proactive. You move from being a passenger carried by fear to being a driver of your own course. Calm action is not about rushing or forcing results. It is about responding with presence, intention, and steady determination, ensuring that every effort contributes to real and meaningful progress. You are not behind. You are simply at a new beginning because life does not operate on a single schedule or a universal timeline. Many people compare themselves to others, measuring their achievements, milestones, and progress against imagined standards. They look at the success, wealth, or accomplishments of someone else and feel as if they are late, missing their chance, or falling behind. This comparison creates unnecessary pressure, anxiety, and self-doubt. The truth is that life is not a race with a fixed finish line. Everyone moves at their own pace, and the moment you feel behind may actually be the perfect moment to start something meaningful for yourself. Being at a new beginning is a position of opportunity, not a deficit. A new beginning is powerful because it gives you clarity and focus. When you accept that you are at the start of a new phase, you can direct your energy toward what matters most. You are free from the expectations of others, the weight of past failures, and the illusion of deadlines. Instead of dwelling on what you have not achieved, you focus on the choices and actions that will shape your future. This mindset creates empowerment because it shifts attention from what cannot be changed to what can be influenced. You are not behind, you are present, capable, and ready to act. Being at a new beginning also allows you to learn from experience. Every stage of life, every mistake, and every success contributes to your knowledge and insight. You may feel as if time has been wasted, but in reality, every step you have taken has prepared you for this moment. Your past equips you with wisdom, perspective, and resilience that a person starting without experience may not yet have. Recognizing that each ending can serve as a springboard to a new beginning changes the way you see setbacks. You understand that the path you are on is not linear, and that starting anew is a sign of strength, not failure. A new beginning requires courage and commitment. It means stepping forward without knowing exactly what will happen, without guarantees, and sometimes without external support. The fear of the unknown can be daunting, but it is natural. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act despite it. Every small step you take in a new direction reinforces your ability to move forward, builds confidence, and creates momentum. Being at a new beginning is a chance to redefine yourself and your life, using your choices and actions to shape what comes next, rather than remaining trapped by past circumstances. At a new beginning, patience becomes essential. Real change does not happen instantly. You may encounter obstacles, delays, and unexpected challenges, but these do not mean you are behind. They are part of the process of growth. Understanding that progress is cumulative allows you to maintain perspective and stay committed even when results are slow to appear. Each step forward, no matter how small, contributes to the larger transformation. Being at the start of something new is an invitation to embrace the journey, not just the destination. Being at a new beginning also fosters gratitude and presence. You recognize that you have the opportunity to choose again, to act with intention, and to create meaningful change. Gratitude strengthens your resolve, while presence ensures that your efforts are grounded in reality rather than fear or comparison. Each moment becomes a building block for the life you want to construct, and the awareness that you are capable of starting again empowers you to move with confidence. You are not behind because life does not define success by timing. It defines it by engagement, effort, and growth. Being at a new beginning is not a deficit, it is a position of advantage, clarity, and potential. It allows you to step forward intentionally, guided by experience, wisdom, and purpose, creating a life that is shaped by your choices rather than constrained by the past. Strength comes from persistence because true growth and achievement are rarely the result of a single effort or a sudden stroke of luck. Life presents challenges repeatedly, and those who endure, adapt, and continue moving forward develop the kind of inner strength that cannot be taken away. Persistence is the steady application of effort, the decision to keep going even when results are slow, unclear, or disappointing. Each time you face difficulty and choose to continue rather than give up, you reinforce your resilience, build confidence, and expand your capacity to handle future challenges. Strength is not born from comfort or ease. It is forged in the repeated practice of persistence. Persistence transforms small actions into meaningful progress. One step, repeated consistently, gradually accumulates into significant change. Many people underestimate the power of continuity, believing that success requires monumental effort in a short period. In reality, repeated effort, even if modest, compounds over time. Each choice to persist, each effort to continue despite fatigue or frustration, contributes to your development. Over time, these actions create momentum that carries you forward, making subsequent challenges more manageable. Strength emerges not from the occasional burst of energy but from the steady rhythm of commitment. Persistence also builds mental resilience. Life is unpredictable, and obstacles are inevitable. When you encounter failure, rejection, or setbacks, your response determines your growth. Those who persist learn to treat obstacles as opportunities for learning, rather than as insurmountable barriers.